SENukeX.tv, and this is the press release training video. Now the goals of this video are to give you a definition of the press release project, show you how to do a press release project, and give you some tips and tricks during the whole video, as well as a sample format to follow when you do your own release projects. So let me get into a quick explanation. The press release project creates an official press release and submits it to sites such as Free Press Release, Press Release Index, PR Window, and Release Notes. And press releases are really important because they give your site or service credibility and, if done correctly, can generate interest and additional revenue for your site or service. So here's a quick overview of the press release projects. They're real similar to article and social nukes. You create a spinnable article, fill in all the rest of fields, and hit start or schedule to nuke it. And once you actually set it up and hit go, SENukeX logs into the press release site, spins the content, submits the content, logs out, and repeats the process over and over again. I'm spinning the content to a certain amount of uniqueness that you can find out by hitting the uniqueness button before you hit the start or schedule button. Alright, so that's how it works. Let's take a look at the software.
Okay, before you do your press release, you need to first make sure that your profile is set up to do press releases. So I know here that this profile down here is set up for press releases. I can look at the module and see I have press release sites already signed up with a username and password for this profile. Okay, so what you want to do here is hit New Press Release and title it. Double click to open. As I mentioned earlier, a press release project is real similar to an article or social nuke. You put in the article you want spun here, and then you do the auto-generate spinner variations, fill in the author name, bio, company, and homepage section here, fill in the keywords, tags, and title, select sites with accounts, select your profile, URL list, and RSS list, and hit start or schedule the nuke. So I already have an article all typed up and ready to go. So I'm just going to copy and paste that into the field here. And the next thing I want to do here is auto-generate spinner variations. Auto-generate now. Just going to make any changes here that I want to the article before I nuke it. So now would be a good time to show you how I actually do the format. I have a document here on the other monitor. I'm going to drag over to this monitor. And this is your typical format here. You start off with for immediate release, then you have your contact information, and then you start off with a headline, and then here's the body. Now I'm doing what I call the question methodology, where I start with a question, and then later on I answer the question. So my question is this: how do you know which computer is right for you? And then I answer the question with saying, buyapc.org makes computer shopping easy by highlighting today's desktops and notebooks. So buyapc.org here is the answer. So here's the body. You start off with a question or statement. In this paragraph, I give my article authority by talking about what the guys over at PC World say about buying a new computer. In this paragraph here, I talk about the only way of knowing what the best computer for you is doing research. And instead of doing hours and hours of research, you can just go to my buyapc.org website. And so here's the answer here, buyapc.org. And then down here, here's the final summary statement. Next time you want to buy a PC, go to buyapc.org. And then here's the last paragraph about buyapc.org. And I talk about what buyapc.org focuses on here. And then here's the contact information paragraph. So that's your basic formatting. Start out with for immediate release. Have the contact information here. This is the headline. This is the introductory statement here, or question. And then these are the body. Answer your statement or question. And have a conclusion paragraph here. And then about yourself or the company name here. Here's the about paragraph. And then the contact information statement here. Alright, so I posted everything except the author name and bio section from the main article here, and I'll just fill in the author name and bio section here. So then I can look at previous sample articles here. Okay, that looks good. So next I select the profile I want to nuke with. I'm going to create a new URL list. And I'm going to create a new RSS list. Next, I'll fill in the tags and title field here. Next, I'm going to select categories. I'll use this auto select categories button. And I'll select whatever categories weren't selected earlier. And then I'm going to select sites with accounts. So this tells me that this profile has 11 accounts already set up under it. Now before I hit the start and schedule button, let's talk about some points here. First, I'm going to talk about how to write press releases. The first thing you want to do is find your story. You want to find something that's newsworthy, strange, or bizarre, or just something that's brand new. Next, you want to follow the format I showed you. You can read local and national newspapers to understand the objective format that writers are using these days for newspapers. And then make sure you proof and reproof your article when you're done. You're actually writing for both people and search engines, so keep that in mind. And the last thing is make sure your contact information is correct. Now let's talk about some generic tips here. I suggest you find something newsworthy. You want to find something riveting that will hold readers' attention. So here's some examples. A, your business is sponsoring a charity event. B, you're implementing or developing a new product that addresses a specific need. C, it's a new business venture that's unique and different. D, changing your company's business, like a merging or partnering with another well-known business. E, getting a contact with a large company. F, results of research that you've carried out. G, awards in industry or community recognition. And lastly, H, something strange or bizarre. So remember that you're writing for both people and search engines. Effective press releases are actually targeted towards both search engines and readers. And I showed you the format earlier. It's actually a cross between an article and an ad. A press release tends to be more objective than promotional, and the copy is often in like an interview format. So the usual marketing hype and salesy type of words you use here is definitely a no-go here. You don't want to use a lot of salesy hype words. And here's some especially effective items that you could use in a press release. You could use A, quotes from a company representative. The interview style here is really effective. B, you could use statistics. People always love stats. Or C, you could use information relating to how, what, when, where, and why. Anything newsworthy would make sense. And then there's two methodologies for actually doing press releases. You could either introduce a question, which I call the question methodology, or you could cover the news, which is the news methodology. The question methodology, here's the basic tips here. You want to start with a killer headline. Make the headline attention-grabbing and encouraging the reader to at least skim the article. You want to kick off with an introductory statement that summarizes what the press release is about and provides further encouragement to read on. Next, introduce a question. This sets the stage for the body of the press release. Also, it's really imperative that you include at least one quotation from an authoritative source, such as a managing director or some head of a department. And then in the body, you want to provide a succinct and accurate answer to the question posed earlier. Make sure you include a conclusion that reflects on the story and considers the future. And always provide accurate contact details, including a telephone number, email address, street address, and website, so that editors can get in touch with you to corroborate the story and maybe request exclusivity. So that's the question methodology. The next methodology is the news methodology, and here's some basic tips. Make sure the information is newsworthy. Tell the audience that the information is intended for them and why they should continue to read it. Start with a brief description of the news, then distinguish who announced it and not the other way around. Make sure the first 10 words of your release are effective, as they are the most important. Deal with the facts, avoid excessive use of adjectives and fancy language, and provide as much contact information as possible. Again, contact name, address, phone, email, website address, etc. You want to make it easier for media representatives to do their jobs. Now regarding the format, you start out with for immediate release, and then you have the contact information, the person number, fax, URL, email address. Then next you do the headline. It's going to be a short, attention-grabbing headline. You don't want to use exclamation marks or any kind of marketing hype. The next you do a summary, which is an extension of the headline. And then your body starts in this format: city, state, month, day, and year. And then you go right into the story itself. You want to keep your sentences short, and paragraphs are generally 5 to 6 lines. The overall body should not be over 500 words. Then you can include further information or contact information. This is where readers can find your website or gain further details. Then you finish up with an about sentence about your company, and you're done. So I'm ready to go here, so I can either hit start or schedule. So I'm just going to hit start.